Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Today, we have some really amazing insights, which are going to be around etiquette. It's not just going to be interview related etiquette, but I'm also going to share with you things related to how exactly can you make yourself and the other person in business comfortable with you. All right, so that's all about etiquette. Today's session is interview and business etiquette. Let's get started. So tell me something. Do you get nervous at the thought of appearing for an interview? Pause and think about the last time when you had to go for an interview. What were your thoughts? What were your feelings? Were you kind of visualizing things that I don't know if I'll be able to answer this well? I don't know if the interviewer might get impressed. What if I fumble? And I'm sure you'll have a lot, many things that are going on in your head right now, right? So if you are someone who gets nervous at the thoughts of appearing for interviews, I have some great news for you. Today's session is just for you. All right. So while of course we would have a separate session devoted to how do you go about answering the frequently asked questions. Today's session is more so focused on how do you exactly behave in interviews. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, the biggest mistake people make when preparing for interviews is they just go ahead, pull out a list of frequently asked interview questions, and they start kind of memorizing answers for it. But really, if you look at it, an interview is nothing but an interchange of views, interchanging of views. It's just that you are sharing certain things with the interviewer is hearing you out and is trying to see whether you fit for the role or not. So in a sense, it's just a conversation to check if you can fit well. Now, if you want to master the art of conversations with people, you need to understand yourself really well. Don't you feel that? Now, if you have to know yourself really well, this tool, personal SWOT analysis, is going to be really handy for you. So before you ever start preparing for interviews, my suggestion to you would be go ahead and do a personal SWOT analysis and then go ahead and start preparing for your interviews. Now, the question is, what really is personal SWOT analysis? I'm very confident that somewhere you would have heard of the word SWOT, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And usually companies do SWOTs where the company as a whole checks what is its strength, what is its weakness, what are the opportunities in the market, in the industry, and what are the threats it's facing again in the world, right? So usually people do this as a company SWOT analysis, but today we are going to do this as a personal SWOT analysis, which basically means that we are going to analyze what are your strengths as an individual, what are your weaknesses as an individual, what opportunities lie here in front of you in the field that you've chosen, and what are the threats that you might face in this field again. So to simply put, strengths and weaknesses, they are internal to you. They belong to you. Okay, they are your strengths, your weaknesses. So let's say you go ahead and say, I'm very patient. That's your strength. Or you say that I procrastinate. That's your weakness. But opportunities and threats are external to you, which means that they are dependent on external factors. Like, for example, COVID happened, riots happen, earthquakes, volcanoes, everything happens which are not in your control. Those things that happen which are not in your control are external factors, like the weather changes, or let's say some band or some strike happening. All those are external factors. Let's say competitors suddenly spring up, right? So that's not in your control. Whoever wants to be your competitor can go ahead and start a similar business. You can't stop them, right? So those are external factors. Sometimes external factors bring in opportunities, and sometimes external factors bring in threats as well. Now, let me explain this with the help of an example. All right. Let's say you have a business where you sell air conditioners. Okay. So usually during summertime, the sales of air conditioners is pretty high. But now, because of global warming, because it's hot pretty much throughout the year in most parts, for you, it's turned out to be an opportunity. While global warming is not a great thing, but this event has turned out to be an opportunity for you to increase your sales because throughout the year now, you can go ahead and sell air conditioners, right? Same way, let's take a similar example. Let's say you have a business that sells winter wear. You sell sweaters, jackets, winter clothes basically, and you mainly operate in India. Now, of course, there will be parts in India which are pretty chilly, but if you look at it majority, if you look at the whole of India in a majority manner, you'll notice that because of global warming, suddenly the demand for winter wear has reduced, which means that global warming, while it's an opportunity for the air conditioner business, it's a threat to your business because people have reduced wearing winter wear. Yes, they might buy it once in a while, but they're not coming to you as often as they used to earlier, right? So these were examples for opportunities and threats which are external to you. In case of internal, these are your strengths. As we looked at, you being patient, that's a strength. If you procrastinate, then that's your weakness. All right. Now, what we are going to do is I'm going to help you understand strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in a better way. And in fact, what we will do is let's do this hands on. All right. So I request you to go ahead and take a paper, put it in landscape mode, and divide your paper into 4 parts, which are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you do not need to write these words in the center. You could just write them in the corner so that you have the center space to note down certain things that we are going to be discussing. So you can just write it as S, W, O, and T just at the corner so that you have the entire quadrant available for you to go ahead and write the things that I'm going to be telling you to write now. All right. So let's go ahead and start with your strengths. Now, many a times, people, when you ask them to share their strengths, they're very confused. They feel that I hardly have 2, 3 strengths. But when you tell them to when you tell them to go and share their weaknesses, they have tons and tons of weaknesses, right? So this exercise is going to help you to write down SWOT really well. Let's go ahead and start with strengths. Now, I want you to just write down as keywords. This is just for rough that you're making. It's not your final SWOT sheet. Right now, because you're learning along with me, you're just going to take down roughly in your notebook. So you don't have to write complete sentences, just bullet points are fine. All right. So in the strengths quadrant, we are now in the strengths block. Go ahead and think of what advantages do you have that others don't have. Probably you're going ahead and doing a course just like this, which your other friends aren't doing, which your colleagues aren't doing. Or maybe you've learned some skills, you're learning some software, you're kind of brushing up your communication skills, just like this, which other people are not doing. Maybe you have a different kind of education, or maybe your network, your industry connections are really good. So these are the advantages that you have over others. Take a moment and quickly in bullet points note down what are the advantages that you have compared to the other people out there. So we are going to take a few seconds for every question, but of course, once the session is done, I would request you to actually come back to the SWOT sheet and kind of finalize it. All right. For now, we are just practicing. So just take a note of the advantages that you have that others don't have. Awesome. I'm moving on now. The next question that I have for you is, what do you do better than anyone else? So here you've listed your skills, certification, education, connections. But here, if there's something that you do better than others, you need to note down. Like, let's say your grasping power is really good compared to others. You're a very quick learner. Or let's say your ideas are better than most of your colleagues. So those are things that you do better than others. So think about it, take a few seconds and note it down. If needed, you can pause this video as well and continue writing. Awesome. So I'm moving on. What personal resources can you access? Maybe you have certain friends and family who are from the industry, or they have good connections. So any personal resources, or let's say you have some equipment, let's say you have a different kind of laptop, a different kind of webcam, which can actually help you to do work much better. Those also come under your strengths, though they are the assets that you have, but end of the day, you have them, whereas Most of the people out there do not have it, right? So if you have some additional resources, please feel free to write it down. I see nowadays a lot of people also have collaborations with other people where they get a job and they delegate it, and then there is sharing of revenues, right? So even those kind of associations can come over here. All right. In case there are some questions to which you do not have answers, don't be worried at all. This video is to stay with you, so you can always come back and think if you have an answer. And it's absolutely fine if you have no answer to a particular question. That does not mean that your strengths quadrant is going to be incomplete. It just means that the question is not helping you at the moment to think of something. It's absolutely fine. All right. Moving on, what do other people like your bosses or your colleagues see in you as your strengths? So sometimes it happens that we ourselves are not aware of our strengths, but other people come and tell us that, hey, you're really good at this. Like, I'll give you my example. I never thought I was good with analytics, and I come from a commerce background. But time and again, people started telling me, especially it started with my boss and then it moved on to my colleagues. And then when I left the industry, still people who had never ever seen me do any kind of analytics work told me that, Ria, you seem to be very good with analytics, right? So then I actually started accepting. Before I was in denial, I started accepting it, and then I realized that, hey, I'm actually good with analyzing data, right? So what is it that other people tell you, specifically the people who work with you, like your manager, your boss, your supervisor, your colleagues? What do they say are your strengths? Think about it and note it down in your strengths box. Okay, pause this video if you have to. Otherwise, you can continue. I'm moving on to the next question. The next question is, which of your achievements are you the most proud of? I'm sure there would have been at least one achievement in your life so far, which you're super proud of, right? So that could be your strength. Now, let's say you got employee of the month, or let's say you got a recognition for some work that you did in your work or somewhere in your life. You can go ahead and note it down as your strength. Please do not restrict yourself to work related stuff, okay? Because sometimes maybe you're really good with understanding people's problems. Maybe you are really good with understanding your friends' problems. That's your strength. It's not work related, but end of the day, it helps us to see that you can read people well, that you can understand people well, right? So do not restrict yourself just to the professional side of your life, all right? Moving on. Now, what do other people, the next point is, what values do you believe in that others fail to exhibit? There must be certain things that drive you, certain values that drive you, which are important and which other people are not following. A simple one could be integrity. Maybe you really value integrity and you should. But if others are failing to exhibit it at work or in the place that you're studying, that means it's your strength. You're able to display it time and again, right? So take a pause and note down the values which are within you, they are a part of you, which mainly other people don't have. Okay, with that, I'm moving on. Are you a part of a network that nobody else is involved in? When I say nobody else, I mean majority of the people. Okay, so it could be, let's say, majority of the people in your circle are not associated with a Leo Club, Lions Club, BNI, or Rotary, Rotaract clubs, and so on. So if majority are not doing it and you are doing it, or you're some part of some other network, which majority of the folks around you are not doing, that becomes a strength again. Okay, and if you are, what connections do you have with influential people? Because as they say, your network is your net worth, right? So if you have some really good contacts in the industry with influential people, when I say influential, they don't have to be celebrities or something. They just mean to be people in the industry. Maybe they might not have the greatest of LinkedIn profiles out there. It does not matter, but they have a network which you can take advantage of. Those are influential people, right? Just to give you one example of one of my faculties from my MBA institute, you won't find her on LinkedIn, but the network she has is massive. You just have to give her send her a message that, ma'am, I'm looking for this. And within 10 minutes, kid you not, she gives me minimum 5 contacts, right? So she is one influential person in my life. So same way, I'm sure you would have influential people. They could be your colleagues, they could be your bosses, your ex-bosses, they could even be your friends for that matter who have a good network, right? So go ahead and think about this. Great. So now we are done with the strengths quadrant. Now you may get that feeling that this is incomplete. I think I can write more. It's absolutely fine. We'll complete the SWOT. And if you feel you need more time, feel free to do this. Feel free to complete your SWOT sheet after the session. In fact, I'll suggest you certain other ways of completing your SWOT sheet. But for now, let's make it in rough first. All right. Now let's move to the weaknesses quadrant. Now, weaknesses are weaknesses that are yours. Okay. But quite honestly, I don't like to call it weaknesses. I prefer calling them work upon areas. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. Think about it. What tasks do you usually avoid because you don't feel confident doing them? Note it down. So it could be maybe things that take really long, or maybe things where you need to think from scratch, you need to kind of ideate. Go ahead and look at what kind of tasks you kind of avoid due to lack of confidence. Okay, the next question is, what will the people around you see as your weaknesses? I'm sure you would have family members, you would have friends who would come to you and tell you that, hey, improve this, you're not doing this quite right. Or, hey, the choice of clothes, the color combination is not quite right that you're wearing. Or let's say, the way you're speaking this, the way you're pronouncing this is not quite right. So I'm sure people in your life, the ones who are close to you, kind of point out certain things, right? So what are those things which keep coming up again and again? I'm not talking about a one-time thing. I'm talking that they keep coming up again and again through different people who are close to you, right? And these weaknesses could be as simple as, like, this is one thing that I keep getting from my family members, and I have accepted this now, is that I don't trust people easily. Okay, so now that's a weakness, and this was brought to me by my family, where they said that sometimes it's important to let go, right? So another weakness that I got to know, with the help of my family, was that I'm overworking. I'm working way too much. I've actually become that the term that we call workaholic, right? Now, it might sound like a very nice term to have, but it takes a toll on you, right? It takes a toll on your health. It takes a toll on your mental health. It kind of affects you, it kind of stresses you out. While you feel you're getting a thrill working long hours, but in the long term, it's not good for you, right? So same way, I'm sure people around you would have told you certain things. Yeah, lovely. Let's move on. The next thing is, what tasks do you usually avoid because you don't feel, sorry, the next thing is, are you completely confident in your education and skills training? If you are, well and good, but if you're not, where are you the weakest? So let's say, for example, I'll give you my example. So when I completed my 12th standard, I was really lazy to go and do what do you call, a very good course which required me to be in college for 6-7 hours. So I decided to take the simplest course out there, which is a BCom degree. And I did it. But when I started doing the course, I realized that this is not enough to give me that edge. So somewhere my degree kind of became like a weakness for me, because there were other people who were doing BBA, BMS, and various other courses, very specialized courses, and they were having that advantage of earning more. So that's when I decided to turn my weaknesses and slowly bring it to strengths by upskilling myself, right? By doing an MBA and doing various other courses and certifications. So please understand that while right now these things are in your weaknesses, you always have the opportunity to go ahead and work on them and move them to the strengths quadrant. All right. Let's move on. Lovely. Let's move on. What are your negative work habits? So, for example, you're often late, you're not organized, you have a short temper, you're not good at handling stress, or you kind of overwork. That also is a weakness. So, what are your negative work habits? Go ahead and put them in your weaknesses box. Let's move on. Do you have personality traits that hold you back in your field? For example, if you have to conduct meetings on a regular basis, you have a fear of public speaking. That's a major weakness because your work requires you to do public speaking, right? It's like, let's say you have to do the work of sales, okay, and you're afraid to talk to strangers. You're afraid to, kind of break the ice or do the small talk and, start talking to new people out there. Then that's a major weakness that can hold you back in your field, right? So think about certain things in your personality which are there today, which can cause a hindrance in your career, and note them down in your weaknesses box. Okay, I hope we are done. Awesome, let's move on. Okay, now before we jump to opportunities, remember what we did right now. Strengths and weaknesses was internal to us. They belong to us. Now we are jumping to the next part, which are opportunities and threats. And opportunities are external to us, all right? So let's go ahead and get started. So now for the opportunities box, let's look at the questions and try to think of the words that can come in the opportunities box. So the first one, what new technology can help you? Maybe like I'm just giving you one example. Let's say that you're doing a job and you feel that you know very basic of Excel, but if you do advanced Excel, that can really help you. You can learn the complicated formulae out there. You can learn how to get insights from data, so that can help you. So think about what new technology in your field, if you learn, can help you. Okay, that's the first part. Or can you get help from others or from people via the internet? So sometimes it's not always necessary to sit and learn a course by yourself. It could be as simple as having somebody in person or online, or maybe somebody you don't even know but you connected on the internet who can help you out when you're stuck. Now that becomes a great opportunity. I'll just give you one example without naming the person. So there was a person on the internet whom I met, and I used to ask him a couple of questions related to digital marketing. But he got so interested in the kind of, the questions that I would ask, because he understood that I'm curious by nature, that he offered me a 1 year long mentorship. He told me that I'm ready to train you. And of course, there was a fee attached to it, but he was ready to kind of cut down on the rates and give me that special attention and also provide me certain services which he was not doing for the other people. Right. So that turned out to be a massive opportunity for me. I never ever thought that just by asking questions, I can actually get this person's guidance for a year long. Right. So you need to know who are the people who can help you and in what way can they provide opportunities to you. All right, moving on. The industry that you are targeting right now, the industry that you are in or you want to transition into, is it growing or not? Okay, if it's growing, how can you take advantage of the current market? Like, for example, if you join digital marketing, it's growing, right? Performance marketing, digital marketing, you look at AI, these things are growing. So, how can you take advantage? Probably one answer could be to upskill yourself to be aware of technologies. Another answer could be to actually get lots of internships, to actually get a lot of gigs, and start connecting with people, do projects for them, collect testimonials. And when you collect these testimonials, they again serve as opportunities, because when you have a good rating given to you by your clients, other people who don't know you start trusting you, right? So those can be your opportunities. Next one, do you have a network of strategic contacts to help you or to offer you advice? Now, if you have this, it's a fantastic opportunity. If you don't have it, at this point, you can skip this question, but I would highly urge you to go ahead and build a network of those contacts who can offer you great advice. Because when you connect with such people, it is said you are the average of five people you interact with, right? So if imagine the five people whom you interact with on a daily basis, you spend maximum time with, are these kind of people, don't you think your brain, your way of thinking would be great? But apart from that, the kind of decisions you take, the kind of opportunities you take or get for that matter would be fantastic. Don't you think that? So it's important to have a network of strategic contacts. If you have it, you can go ahead and write down. If not, at least keep in mind that I need to add this later on. I need to work on this because the opportunities I'm going to get are going to just be multifold. All right, let's move on. What trends do you see in your company, and how can you take advantage of them? So, if there's any change in your management, if you're working and you see any change in management, let's say they are also giving you a lot of training opportunities, they are working on employee well-being, they're taking some initiatives. If they are doing that, then how can you take advantage of it? Like I'll give you one example. In fact, that opportunity really helped me to be who I am today, to become a trainer and coach. So when I was working with a company in the e-commerce industry, I was in the marketing department, but I was given this role of training people. Okay, and it was not that it was given to me; they just asked me, "Would you like to take it up?" And I was hesitant, but I said, okay, let me try. No harm. Let me try it once. I went ahead, I tried it, really seemed to enjoy it, did it multiple times. And then I realized that I think I just want to make my career in this. So I got the opportunity just to, kind of enhance the knowledge of the employees, took it up, and that led me to changing my careers. So you never know what tiny move of yours can actually help you to kind of take a bigger leap forward, right? Moving on, are any of your competitors failing to do something important? If yes, can you take advantage of their mistakes? Now, you'll have a lot of competitors out there, who would have similar products as yours. And if you're on a job, of course, you're not talking about products. You can talk about the personality that you have and the other people have at work, right? So, what is it that they are failing to portray? What is it that they don't have that you have? How can you go ahead and take advantage of the mistakes that they have made, right? So it could be as simple as, let's say, the person who was working in your position before you, he made certain mistakes. And during handover, when you joined the company and he was leaving, you asked him what were the mistakes that were made and what did you do, like how to kind of prevent these mistakes. He gave you some tips, and then you thought about it. You actually had your own tips as well, you had your own strategies as well, and you avoided the mistakes, and that helped the business grow, that helped your performance improve, and that helped you to get the recognition as well, right? So always look at what mistakes are people making out there, and as a brand, as a product, as a service, as somebody who's skilled, how can I avoid it? That's how you take advantage of your opportunities out there. Okay. Moving on, is there a need in your company or in your industry that nobody else is filling? Okay. So when we say nobody, it means majority of the people out there are not taking advantage. So it could be as simple as when COVID hit, lockdown happened, a lot of people lost their jobs. Okay. And because they were not open to technology, they were not open to learning, they were not okay with work from home related jobs. But the ones who took up the work from home related jobs, they had a competitive edge. Until today, they continue having it. I'm one of those people. In COVID, my physical training business suffered big time. But I kind of adapted to technology, kind of learned new virtual tools, learned webinars, meetings, and other things, and you can see the result. If this course is happening today, if this session is happening today, it's purely because back then I took the courage, though I was very scared, took the courage to start learning from a different point of view, shifting from the offline world to the online world, right? So there were a lot of people who were hesitant back then, until today they are. But what if they could just let go of the hesitation, make the mistakes, learn, and start doing the work? They'll be in a much better space, right? So I'm sure in your industry as well, in your company, or in the field of in your specialization that you've chosen, you would also notice that majority of the people are scared to do X, Y, Z. But if I do it, I'm actually filling a need that is there, and other people are not able to. Yeah. So think about it. Now, these questions that I'm putting on to you, to be honest, they require time. Okay. So if you're not getting the answers, don't be baffled, don't get scared. It's normal. Okay. And I'm going to tell you exactly what else can you do once I complete the threats part. Okay. So with that, let's continue with opportunities. Do your customers or vendors complain about something in your company? So if they do, could you create an opportunity by offering a solution? Think about it. If there are complaints, that means there's a problem. And if there's a problem, that means there has to be a solution. So if customers complain about something, try to find an opportunity out there. What is it that we can offer so that we, are different from the rest of the market? Okay. Moving on. Now we are jumping to the threats box. Again, threats are external, not much in our control. Okay, let's go for it. What obstacles are you currently facing at work which are not in your control? Okay, let's say there's office politics happening. Let's say there are layoffs happening. These are not in your control. So whatever obstacles you're facing, go ahead and put it in the threats box. Next up, are there any of your colleagues who are competing with you for projects, for roles, or if you're studying currently, are there any of your batchmates who are competing for projects, for roles? Now, it's important to understand why are they competing. Is it because they want to go ahead and get that some achievement, some title? What is it? You need to go ahead and put that in the threats box. What are they competing for? Is it more money, more salary, a promotion? What exactly is it, right? And why? Why is it that they are competing with you specifically? It's important to know that as well. Next, is your job or the demand for the things you do changing? Now, very often people come to me and say, AI is taking over the world. I think I'm going to lose my job. So that fear is there, the threat of AI is there, right? So they feel that AI will take over their jobs because they are into repetitive tasks. They do more of clerical work probably. But yes, if that's true, if you're doing a clerical job, you're doing something that's repetitive, yes, probably AI can take over. There's no doubt about it. That's a threat. But at the same time, if AI is taking over your job, the opportunity that lies for you is to come up with a better job where you're doing more of the strategic thinking. You're not doing the actual work, you're getting the machines to do it, but your role has now changed to using your head more and planning and strategizing things, right? Same way, another demand that comes up is creating these machines, creating these tools, creating these robots. So that becomes another opportunity out there, right? Moving on, does changing technology threaten your position? So I know of a lot of people who are into such technologies which are kind of getting obsolete. So if those technologies are getting obsolete and they don't have any other skill, then yes, it's a threat for them, right? So same way, think the technologies that you are whole and solely dependent on in your work, can it threaten your career? Okay, if yes, note down the technologies that are getting obsolete. Next, could any of your weaknesses lead to threats? It's a thing. It's a thing to think about. If you have some threats which can, sorry, if you have some weaknesses which can lead to threats, put it down in the quadrant, the threats quadrant. All right. Now, moving on. Okay, so now we are done with the SWOT sheet, and let me tell you, this is going to be incomplete. Okay, why is it incomplete? Because in limited time, we are trying to think too much. And yes, not always do the all answers come at the snap of a finger, right? You need some time. So now what I would encourage you to do is right now you've written everything in a tiny sheet on a rough paper. Next up, what you can do is just get a full-blown chart paper, divide it into 4 parts. Similarly, at the corners, you write SWOT. And whatever you've written in your notebook, go back and put it on that chart paper. And put that chart paper somewhere in your house where you can see it pretty often. Okay, stick it up somewhere on your cupboard or some wall where you can see it often. And each time you pass by it, you're going to get more ideas. Just keep updating your SWOT sheet. Okay. Let's say I'm just passing by now, my SWOT sheet is ready, and suddenly I get a thought, oh, this can also be an opportunity, and I go and fill it up in my chart, right? So I'm constantly in the mode of updating my SWOT sheet. Now the question comes, fine, this sheet is ready. What do I do next with it? The next thing that you're going to do with it is give a good hard look to your entire SWOT sheet, and quite a lot of answers for your interviews lie out there. Okay, like for example, you can go ahead and look at your strengths. You can talk about it in interviews. You can look at your weaknesses. When asked in interview, what are your weaknesses? You have your answers there. When asked, what are the trends you see in the industry? The opportunities lie there. And what are the threats? The answer lies there. And now start seeing a combination. Okay. Now, these are my weaknesses. What are some things that I can do to move these weaknesses into strengths? So you can start thinking. You can pick up one or two weaknesses and create a plan of action that every day I do these small things, these tiny things. And eventually, after 6 months, I want to see that these two weaknesses are now in my strengths box, right? Two weaknesses shifted to strengths. Same way, look at what opportunities do I have and how can I use my strengths for it. Okay, let's say the opportunity could be e-learning. One of the opportunities says e-learning industry is booming, and the strength says that you're a quick learner. Now you can match the two and you can say, wow, the e-learning industry is booming. I can use my strengths of being a quick learner and learning technology really fast and upskilling myself, learning more tools, learning more ways of teaching in a fun manner online. And that's how I'm going to take maximum use of this opportunity. Same way, I'm going to look at my threats box and I'm going to see how can my strengths help me to reduce my threats. Because see, threats are external, we cannot control them, but we can at least try with the help of our strengths to reduce it, right? So you could try different combinations of boxes and see how can you change, how can you mold as a person, all right? With that, I now want to transition into etiquette. Now, you must be thinking, how is SWOT related to etiquette? Now, etiquette is nothing but it's about you being comfortable around people and making them comfortable around you. Now, when you are aware of your strengths, when you're aware of the opportunities that lie, you are going to be much more confident. And when you have that vibe of confidence, that spark in you, other people around you also become comfortable. But let's say you're constantly only focusing on your weaknesses, you're not going to be confident. And when you walk into a room lacking confidence, no spark, no energy, people around you also wonder who is this person and what he or she is doing here, right? So each time you start doubting yourself that I'm not doing good in my life, I'm not good enough, and so on, I wanted to give a good heart stare at the strengths box and the opportunities box right out of your SWOT sheet. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Pause this video. We've done a lot of things and just flip through your notes and check if you're all good. Awesome. I hope you've done that. With that, let's move on. Okay, moving forward. Now, people often get confused between the difference between etiquette and manners. Okay, it's very simple. Manners are something that are taught to us from childhood, like saying please, sorry, thank you, be polite, respect everyone. These are manners. These are something that this is something that's expected out of you because you've been taught since childhood. Whereas etiquette is something that you do that makes the other person believe that they can be comfortable with you, they can trust you, and they can feel your confidence, right? So just to give you an example, we typically have different types of forks to eat food. Like you have a salad fork to eat salad, you have a dinner fork to eat your main course, right? So if you use the wrong fork, then that's bad etiquette. Let's say for eating salad, I go ahead and use that big fork, my dinner fork, that's bad etiquette, right? But nobody is going to stop me from doing that. It's just bad etiquette. But if I go and point out to that person, hey, you're using the wrong fork, if I do that on the dinner table, that is bad manners. So I hope we are getting the difference. Etiquette helps people to believe that you are somebody who is confident in your skin, who's comfortable, and they become comfortable with your personality. All right. Now what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and look at the first part of etiquette, which is interview etiquette. And then we are going to jump, we are going to shift gears and we are going to look at business etiquette. So are you ready to go ahead and learn some great things about interview etiquette? Go ahead and let me know how excited are you at this point to learn about interview etiquette. Super, let's go for it. Okay. So now let's say you get an interview call. Okay. Hello, I'm talking from XYZ company. Congratulations, your resume has been shortlisted and we would like to call you for an interview tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Okay, let's say you get a call like this. So what does this interview call mean? According to you, does that mean that they like you? Does that mean that they feel you are a fit? Yeah. So an interview call simply means that they've already felt that yes, you are somebody we feel they're not 100% sure yet. They feel that you might fit this role. Okay. So they feel that maybe there's a match, what we are looking at. We do see it in your resume. Now we want to meet you in person and kind of solidify that. We want to believe that yes, you are the right fit. That's what an interview call means. Now, in order to perform well at an interview, you need to do some things before the interview. And what are those things that you can do before the interview? So pause this video and think, what all kind of things would you do before an interview? Think about everything, the preparation, everything, all the points that come to your mind. Pause this video for a few seconds and go ahead and think about it. So probably one thought that would have come to your mind is I should check the job description. Yeah, I should go ahead and read my own resume. I should also, go ahead and check who's the hiring manager, who's going to be interviewing me. I should go on LinkedIn and check who this person is. Yeah. So yes, these are the things absolutely. So first thing I would recommend you to do is go ahead and do an in-depth company research. Okay. Now, where do you go ahead and research? Usually, we go ahead and say Google. But while Google is great, you need to know how to use Google as well. Many people, what they do is they just go ahead and type the name of the company. They check the first two, three, search results, and that's their company research. Guess what? That's not going to get you the job. That's not going to show or create that impression that you want them to have on you. Okay, because like you, there are many other candidates who just go to Google and look at, the first three, four search results. Yes, you have to go to Google, but what you need to do is deep research. Okay, you need to go to Google, not just page one, but page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes even 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? When you do that, you're different compared to the rest of the candidates because while I agree that the best of the articles might be there on page one, there are a lot of information on the rest of the pages which the other candidates don't know. And if you can share those kind of information during the interview, don't you think you will come across as somebody who's more passionate about the company? Yeah, don't you think that could happen? If you share certain things that other candidates are not sharing, don't you think they'll feel that you're more well read compared to them? Yeah. So it's important to do your deep research. And one way, if time is too less, you can go ahead and quickly run through the 10 pages. But let's say you have a couple of days before the interview. I would encourage you to set up Google alerts on with the keywords relating to the name of the company, related to the industry, as well as the role that you've applied for, so that you have enough time to just check your mails and read what's happening. Okay, so I would encourage you to set up Google alerts to be up to date with what's happening in the company, as well as in the industry and the role that you applied for. Now, apart from Google, of course, you have websites like LinkedIn, you have websites like Crunchbase as well, where you can go ahead and do the company research. Another website that we have is Glassdoor. I'm sure you would have heard of Glassdoor. So Glassdoor helps you to do many things. It helps you to understand what the company is into. You can read the reviews, you can check the salary ranges, and there's a lot more things that you can do on Glassdoor. But right now we're talking about Glassdoor because it helps us to understand the company. All right. You also have another tool which is called Ambition Box that helps you to understand the salaries better. It helps you to understand the capacity of the company better. Apart from this, you have the website of the company. Yes, going to the website is the most obvious thing. But again, it's not quite obvious because there are still people who just see the About Me page and that's about it. They see the About Us page of the company and that's about it. My suggestion to you would be to actually go ahead and look at each and every page of the website because you never know which one line you read in the website that when used during the interview can actually help you a lot, can actually create a great impression, right? So it takes some time. It will take maybe 20 minutes extra of your time, but it's worth the effort. When you read each and every line, even a line, if you can remember during the interview, it can create a fantastic impression. All right. Next, of course, checking the social media pages of the company, checking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, checking YouTube. And even if you're not from the marketing department, actually going ahead and looking at some of their marketing campaigns, what are the kind of posts they're doing, what are the creatives they've put in can actually help you. So how can it help you when you go for the interview? And just as a way of a small talk, you say, I love the ad that was done by so and so, by your company on so and so topic. It was amazing. When you do that, it shows passion and it's a good way of starting a conversation, right? Where you say, hello, hi, how are you, and so on. And I would really like to compliment you on the recent campaign done. I saw it on Twitter. It was amazing, right? So when you talk such things, it shows passion. Apart from that, you can also read the annual reports, the quarterly reports of the company, which is freely available in the public domain. So go ahead and read it because you never know when a company might ask you, what all do you know about me? Can you tell us our figures? And so on. All right. Apart from that, it's also important to know the interviewer. So according to you, what do you do in order to know the interviewer? What do you do in order to know the interviewer? Usually people go on LinkedIn and check out. Yeah, you can go on LinkedIn, you can check out more about the interviewer. So in case you don't know who the interviewer is, when you get that call, congratulating you that you have an interview, it's important to ask them, then may I know who would be interviewing? Try to find out the name. Okay, most of the times the companies do share the name, quickly note it down. And in case they don't share the name, at least ask for their designation. So you can go to LinkedIn and even by designation, you can go ahead and search for that profile and read more about them. Apart from LinkedIn, I would urge you to go ahead and check out their Facebook and Instagram profiles. Do a quick Google search and check if they've appeared in the news. Read the kind of news they have appeared in. What are some words they have quoted? So that the same things you can use in the interview. You can tell them, I actually read your article on so and so, and I absolutely believe or I absolutely agree with what you mentioned on that topic, right? So these are ways in which you can build a rapport, right? So apart from this, there's also an amazing tool called Crystal Notes. Have you heard of it? Crystal Notes. So Crystal Notes is actually a Chrome extension through which you can go ahead and understand this person's personality. What I'll do next is let me do one thing. I'm going to walk you through Crystal Knows, a very quick walkthrough, and I'll also take you through Glassdoor and Ambition Box. All right. Let's go ahead and first look at Crystal Knows, and then I'll show you Glassdoor and Ambition Box as well. So Crystal Knows is a Chrome extension where what you need to do is you need to install the Chrome extension. Then you come on the person's LinkedIn profile. So assume this person is your hiring manager, is the interviewer tomorrow. You come to this person's profile, and on the right, you will see this option of viewing personality. All you need to do is click on view personality. So once you click on view personality and you log in, on the right, you can see what kind of a person he or she is. Now, in this case, you can see the person is an encourager. How do you communicate with this person? What should you do? What should you not do? This decodes their personality a little more. If you're trying to sell something to them, just select the stage at which you are, the sales stage, and then you can get some amazing advice on what should you do before the next meeting, what do you do in order to kind of do well at the meeting, and so on. Okay, coming back here, this is the behavior that you can expect from this person. If you're emailing, please go ahead and do these things. If you're meeting, go ahead and do these things. These are the things that energize this person, so ensure you do all of these things. These are the things that stress this person out, so avoid these things. And there's so much more, right? You can just keep scrolling. You can go through these different tabs, and you will get an idea of how your hiring manager is going to be, how the interviewer is going to be. So I would highly urge you to go ahead and use Crystal Knows for your interviews, for your meetings. Yes, even for cold emailing, absolutely, right? It's a fantastic tool. It has 10 free views, which basically means that on the free version, you can go ahead and try out 10 different profiles. So use it and take advantage of it. All right. Apart from this, I mentioned to you that also check out their Instagram and Facebook personal profiles. Now, why did I tell you to do that? Because usually on LinkedIn, you see the professional side, but it's also important to understand your interviewer as a human being, as a person. So if you see that on their Instagram, they have some nice pictures where they are playing football, or they've been on a particular trip, or they've been to a particular city, and you also have done that, then in that case, you can talk about it. Obviously, you don't have to tell them that you visited their profile, but you can tell them that I have a keen interest in football, or in one of my trips to so and so place, this was a lesson that I learned. Now, when you do such things, what happens is that the opposite person can see a lot of common things. And if you remember from our previous session, the more things that are common, the higher the trust, the better the rapport, right? If you remember, we spoke about rapport building when we were talking about mirroring. So I would highly encourage you to go ahead and not just search on LinkedIn and Crystal Knows, but also check out on the different channels out there, including Google News. All right. With that, next what I'd like to show you is Glassdoor. So I'm coming to Glassdoor right now. And of course, you need to log in first. And the next thing that you can go ahead and do is you can search for a company where you're going to interview. Okay, so here, I'm just going to go ahead and search for the company. So just assume for now, to save time, I'm searching for TCS. Now, when I click on TCS, these are the different tabs that are available. Okay. So for me, when I'm doing my company research, it becomes really important to see what are people saying about the company. Okay. What are the pros and cons of working in this company? I'm going to go through, there are quite a lot of reviews. So you can see here, there are over 120K reviews. I'll go through a bunch of them, maybe around 1 or 2 pages. I'll go through everything and I'll make my notes on what are the pros of working in the company. Now, why am I doing that? Because in interviews, you're asked the question, why do you want to work here? What motivates you to apply to our company? And then you can talk about the in-depth research that you did and the kind of reviews you read. And those are the things that excited you, right? So those are how reviews can help you. Jobs are nothing but job openings. So for now, it's not important for us. Moving on, salaries. Now, this helps you to prepare for the salary question. So you can just go ahead and enter the role that you're applying for, and you would get a salary range. So let's assume for now, I'm applying for the role of a systems engineer. Okay, this is the interview I'm going to go for. And here you could see that the base pay. So let's look at the total pay. The total pay is around 4.4 lakhs per annum for this role. But I can also add in my filters. Okay, let's say I have 4 to 6 years experience and I can search. I can also add different filters and check what's happening. Okay. One thing to remember here is that always select, always believe the numbers if very high or high confidence is written. Why that? Because that means that a large number of people have kind of voted for this amount. If you see low confidence or average confidence, it basically means that there are very few people who have kind of voted for this number. All right. So that's how you search for salaries. Next, this is very important. This is where you prepare your interview answers. So these are the frequently asked interview questions. And what you need to do is, of course, you need to go ahead and put the job title over here. Let's say for now, I'm putting systems engineer. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and sort by most recent. Now, the reason I'm doing most recent is because it helps me to understand the people who are hiring right now in the company. See, there will be select people who do the interviews, right? There won't be thousands of people. Maybe there'll be 10, 20, upper limit, maybe 30 people in the company who are hiring right now, right? So I can see that the most recent are the most recent means these are the people who are interviewing right now. And I can see what are the kind of questions they're asking, and I'll be mentally prepared to answer those questions. Okay. So I go ahead and I look at the interview questions and I note it down. I create my own question bank. I note these questions down and then I start preparing my answers on these frequently asked interview questions. Right. I mean, the list is endless. It depends on you how many you want to go ahead and look at. But after 4 or 5 pages, as per my experience, you start seeing a pattern. You start noticing that the same question is framed differently. All right. So my suggestion to you would be at least go ahead and note down the questions from the first 4 pages. Now, as you can understand, the kind of tips that I'm giving you, this takes a lot of time. It is not something that you get an interview call today and they call you tomorrow at 11 and you'll be ready to go for the interview. So I would suggest that always, whenever you get an interview call, telling you to come the next day, tell them that I have some prior commitments. Would it be okay to come on so and so date? Try to have at least 48 to around, let's say, 60 hours of time to prepare for the interview. And if they agree, well and good, you're lucky, you get more time to prepare. But if they say, no, I'm sorry, slots are full, it's really urgent, then honestly, you don't have a choice. Then in the limited time, you'll have to prepare how much ever you can. But the point is, if you can, always try to push the interview when they're discussing your availability. Try to give yourself a good 45, 48, or 60 hours to prepare well. All right, with that, I'm going to show you the next tool to research, which is Ambition Box. Now, Ambition Box helps you to go ahead and not just look at the reviews, jobs, and interview questions, but also it helps you to know about the company, the salaries, and the benefits. In a way, it's similar to Glassdoor. So we can just go ahead and look at it quickly. Okay, so for now, I'm clicking on salaries, but you could look at any other tab. And it's similar. All you need to do is just select the right. So here again, you can see the base here is broader. Okay, so you can just select, you can put your work experience and you'll get an amount. Okay, now maybe what you see, the numbers on Glassdoor might be different from that on Ambition Box. So it's going to highly be a probability that that happens. So what I would recommend you is that look at both the numbers, whichever is higher, you can trust that number and you can go ahead and ask for that amount in the interview. So obviously you don't have to ask for that amount. You'll bump up the number. If you, let's say see a 6 lakhs, okay, you can ask for a 7.5 to 8 lakhs package. And of course, there will be a scope for negotiation and then you come back around to the 6.5 or 7 lakh range. All right. But my suggestion would be always compare the sites and then take a call. All right. Moving on. So we spoke about this. One more point that I would like to add for you is that when you're trying to know your interviewer, always know how to pronounce their names. So please go to LinkedIn and you'll see an audio note next to their name. Go ahead, click on it and see how to pronounce, their names. I'll just show you an example here. So here, when you click on the audio option,
Ria Punjabi.
here you can see this is how the name is pronounced. So I would encourage you, please check the pronunciation of their names. And in case this option is not available on their LinkedIn profiles, when they are introducing themselves, listen to the pronunciation really clearly, because nothing can offend a person more than you not, pronouncing his or her name quite right. Moving on, one mistake people make, and bad etiquette, I would say, is the moment an interview is over, they don't even know whether they're going to get shortlisted, they're going to get selected, they're going to get rejected. They just go ahead and connect with the person. I would not recommend that at all. Do not connect on social media. When I say social media, I purely mean LinkedIn, because others were not even supposed to connect. So do not connect on LinkedIn. Wait for a couple of months. And after that, you can go ahead and connect with them if you are rejected. If you are selected, then you become an employee of the company. So you can immediately go ahead and connect with them only. But if you're rejected, I would urge you to wait for a few months and then connect, because as it is, this lead is not of any use to you at this point in your life, right? Moving on, very, very important. Always study the job description really well and match it with your resume. What do I mean by this? Go ahead and look at the keywords in the job description, look at the keywords in your resume, see how many are matching, see how many are left out. Because when you ask the question, why do you think you're fit for this company? Why do you think you're fit for this role? Your answer lies there. That I went through the job description really thoroughly, and I noticed that I have quite a few things that match. Okay, and let's say there are some things that don't match. Let's say your resume has some extra things. You can add those things as well. Like when they ask you why do you think you're fit for the role, your answer could be, I went through the JD thoroughly, and these are the things I feel I match really well. In fact, apart from this, I also have these achievements which I feel can help in the role, and then you say how they can help you. And that's why matching both of these becomes super crucial. Moving on, of course, prepare for the frequently asked interview questions, the tech related questions, the situation questions, the soft skills related questions, which is basically your HR round. So the best resource, we looked at it, is Glassdoor, followed by Ambition Box. Build your question bank and start preparing for your answers. Next up, plan your outfit in advance. What is it that you're going to wear? And I would urge you not to wear brand new clothes and brand new shoes on the day of your interview. Why do you feel so? Why do you feel that you should not wear brand new clothes and no brand new shoes for the first time for your interview? So the reason is, sometimes when we buy new things, especially shoes, you tend to get a shoe bite. And if you get a shoe bite, you're wearing the shoe for the very first time, and you're going to the interview, and let's say you get a shoe bite, you're going to be disturbed all the time throughout the interview. Same way with brand new clothes. If you wear brand new clothes, maybe you tried the clothes on when you went to buy them, and when you wore them for 5 minutes, you were feeling okay. But you don't know when you wear the same piece of clothing for 4 or 5 hours, how are you going to feel? If it's going to be itchy, if it's going to be rough on your skin, and if it's going to be that, then obviously you're going to be uncomfortable. So I would urge you that if you're buying new clothes for the interview, please ensure, first of all, you wash them once before wearing. And second of all, you wear them for a couple of hours, including the shoes, so that you understand whether you're comfortable in them or not. And then you can finally go ahead and wear them for the interview. All right. Next, you also need to check what are the different modes of transport to reach the venue. Many a times what people do is they say, I'll catch that bus, that's a normal bus, or I'll catch an Uber or an Ola, okay, or I'll go by bike. But you also need to have a backup just in case the bus that you were waiting for is not arriving on time. What is the other option? Do you have a train method, or do you have an Uber Ola option, or do you have a shorter way of reaching that destination? You need to plan your entire mode of transport in advance. Apart from that, obviously, you need to copy all your documents. Please carry Xerox. Do not carry originals because if you're selected, that's when originals are asked. So all your documents in what do you call Xerox form, multiple copies of your resume because you don't know how many interviewers will be there in your panel, right? So I would suggest 3 to 4 copies so that in case of the panel of 3, 4, every interviewer is getting their own copy to go through, right? Ensure you also have your own passport size photographs, and the passport size photographs need to be recent. You can't take a 10-year-old passport size photograph. I would suggest that the way you're looking right now, your passport photo should just show that. So if you have a very old passport size picture, please click good pictures. When I say good, I mean professional pictures, and then take them. Apart from that, you also need to carry your portfolio. So resume, I told you, you need to carry, resume, I told you, you need to carry 3 to 4 printouts. But apart from that, also please carry the digital version of your resume. Now, when it comes to your portfolio, it's a very, very tricky situation because you don't know whether they'll give you access to the Wi-Fi. You don't know whether they'll allow you to access from their laptop, whether your pen drive will work. We don't know what situation we will be in, right? So I would always suggest that carry your portfolio on your laptop, which means saved on your laptop. Put it up on cloud, which means save it on Google Drive. Have a copy of it on your pen drive. Ensure your hotspot and dongle are working because a lot of times companies don't allow you to access their internet for security purposes. So you should be ready with all the options. If you can carry a printout of your portfolio, go for it. There are certain, kind of roles where you can carry your black books, as they call it, right? When I say black book, what I mean is black book looking kind of portfolios, which are those really sturdy books where you can flip through the pages and look at the kind of work you've done. So if your portfolio is that kind where you can take printouts and go for it. And of course, if you're somebody into high tech where you need to show pieces of code or you need to show apps that need to be working, then of course you need to keep it only digital, right? Apart from that, always carry 2 to 3 pens with you and a notepad. Always keep a clean notepad and clean pens with you. You never know when they'll tell you to write a piece of code, or you never know, they might just tell you to think on something and you need to strategize on point. So you can't at that point, request for a pen and paper. Maybe even they don't have it. You don't want to waste time. So my suggestion would be carry pens and a clean notepad. Now, the next thing I know will upset you, but I don't mean that before this interview have 5 mock PIs. What I mean to say is when you start, the process of applying to companies, at the same time start the process of appearing for mock PIs. Do a minimum of 5 mock PIs with the industry experts, with your faculties, your mentors, basically anyone who's in the industry, and also people from the HR field. How that helps is because when you're doing these mocks, they first of all give you a feedback on what you did good, where can you improve. Plus, it also helps you to expand your question bank. You can look at the kind of questions they're asking and prepare on those questions as well. And yes, you have a lot of support nowadays when it comes to mock PIs. You have your own institutes giving that to you. You can go on the internet. There are quite a few websites where you can pay for per mock PI and appear for it, and you also get the recording of it along with a scorecard and feedback by the industry experts. So my suggestion would be whenever you start the job hunt process, be ready to start the mock PI process as well. Next, prepare for 3 to 4 questions to ask the interviewer. Eventually, you'll ask only 2 questions in the interview, but prepare for 3, 4 because you never know that, if you prepare for 2, maybe those 2 already get answered while the interview is on. So always have backup questions. Prepare good questions that show eagerness to know more about the company, to know more about the culture, to know more about the team and the role. Okay. Moving on, reach the venue. When I say venue, I mean the office where the interview is supposed to be held. Reach that spot 15 minutes prior to the interview time, which basically means that if you have to freshen up, you need to go to the restroom, etc. You need to be in the building probably 30 to 45 minutes prior. Let's say you want to have a quick cup of tea or coffee, you want to grab something, you're coming from really far off, you will need some time, right? So if the interview is at 11 and you need to eat, you need to freshen up, then I would suggest you reach that area by 10 to 10:15 a.m. so that you have 15-20 minutes to eat, 15-20 minutes to go to the restroom, and then appear in the interview area 15 minutes prior. And I would like to share one thing. So we think that 15 minutes of freshening up time is a lot. There have been times when there have been back-to-back interviews, more so like walk-in interviews or more like too many interviews scheduled and the washrooms are packed. So you don't want to think that, oh, 15 minutes is a lot, I can just go 2 minutes prior. It does not work that way. You don't know how far is the washroom. You don't know how many people are waiting. So never take any chances when it comes to your interview. If you reach half an hour early, there's no harm at all, right? Next, let's do one thing. Let's take a pause here and check if we are all good. Just flip through your pages and see if we are doing great. Check if you have any questions, see your notes properly. We are now moving on to during the interview, what do you do? So during the interview, assume you are in the interview room right now. What do you do? Okay. By the way, before we move to during the interview, I would want to add one point here. So when you reach the interview 15 minutes prior, it is good etiquette to tell the receptionist that, hello, my name is so and so, and I have an interview with so and so's person, which is scheduled for 11 o'clock. Please ensure you inform them that you've come. There have been cases when people reach prior, and because they did not inform, the receptionist was unaware. They said that this candidate has not appeared and they proceeded with other people's interviews. It has happened. Okay. So please inform the receptionist. And if she tells you, if he or she tells you to, be in the waiting area, choose such a spot to sit where they can see you. Okay. Don't choose some corner or some part where you're not visible. Sit in an area where they can absolutely see you. Okay. Moving on to what do you do during the interview? So first things, of course, the phone has to be on silent. Next, you may be carrying your laptop bag or your handbag. Ensure that it's not on the table, it's not on the lap, it needs to be on the floor. It needs to be close to the front leg of your chair, the right side front leg of your chair. And your phone needs to be in your pocket, preferably in the pants, like the pocket of your pants, not over here in your shirt, because sometimes when your phone vibrates, the light also flashes, which can be pretty distracting. So phone ideally could be in your bag or in your pocket on silent. Now, when it comes to entering, obviously you've got to take permission to enter the room. Now, you may see a wooden door or you may see a glass door. So if it's a wooden door, obviously you need to knock 1, 2, 3, knock 3 times. Slowly peep in and ask, may I come in? If it's a glass door, because it's see-through, you don't need to knock the door. You can just through eye contact and your actions ask if I may come in. And then you come in, you take the permission to sit. Don't just come and sit because there's a chair. Wait for them to tell you that please go ahead and sit. If they don't, ask, may I please be seated? Take your seat and greet every interviewer out there. There might be 2, 3 interviewers. Look at everyone. So let's say you're saying good morning. You don't need to say good morning, good morning, good morning. You can just look at all 3 and say good morning to all of you. All right. Never ever initiate the handshake because if you remember, it's the seniors who initiate the handshake. In this case, the interviewers are the seniors. So if they initiate the handshake, that's when you go ahead and shake hands with them. Next up, always thank them for every gesture that they take to make you feel comfortable. So if they ask you Would you like to have some water? Would you like to have some tea, coffee? Please be seated. These are all their gestures to make you feel comfortable. So please thank them for every gesture that they take. And I would say that please do not accept the tea, coffee, because this is a place where you need to be serious, you need to be focused. You don't want to get distracted by that tea or by that coffee. Water also, I would suggest not to take, but if you're really, if you've not got access to water, you've not carried your own bottle, you did not get a canteen, and you feel that you need water, water is the only thing that you can take. There are some interviewers who intentionally ask you for samosas and sandwiches as well. They want to judge you. So please ensure that you politely say a no. So the only thing that you would ideally have is just a glass of water. Okay. Moving on, the body language needs to be confident. We all have mastered the art of confident body language now. So you know what I mean. Smiling, or maybe a small smile like a grin, giving good eye contact, uncrossed arms, uncrossed legs, sitting straight, nodding, and ensure that you don't touch your face, you don't touch your hair, you're not fidgeting with your watch, your ring, your cufflinks, or anything of that sort. Next, remember solar, SOLER. So sit squarely, which means sit directly. This shows that you are involved in the interview or in the meeting. So this is not just for interviews, it also works brilliantly for client interventions. Have an open posture. This means that you're not crossing your arms, you're not crossing your legs. This way, people feel you're open to sharing information and receiving information. Lean forward when you're talking to somebody, and it shows that you're involved. And when they talk, you don't have to be leaning forward. You can just come back to your position, which is neutral, not even going behind, just sitting neutral. All right. Eye contact, we've spoken enough about this. Remember to give good eye contact. Next, it's important to calm down. You don't have to be nervous or closed in your body language. So just be a little relaxed, have an open body posture that shows that you are focused and you are confident. Next, please speak clearly. That is good etiquette. Many a times people feel that I will speak very softly, or my speech will not be clear, so it will be fine. But it's not fine because when you speak softly, you're thinking you're being nice and kind, but the other person is having an effort, does have to take an effort to listen to you. So please speak clearly. Be enthusiastic. It's good to be enthusiastic, but when you are like all bubbly and very excited, your voice also gets shrilly, the pitch also goes high, and you look very animated. That means people are not going to take you seriously, right? Next, listen to the question, pause, and then answer. Many a times, because candidates are nervous, they are in a hurry to answer the question. They don't even listen to the question. Sometimes they don't even think what they want to answer. So it's okay. It's completely natural to take a pause and then answer. So when they ask you a question, you could take 5-7 seconds or even 10 seconds in certain cases, which requires you to think a lot, and then come up with your answer. Okay, your choice of words also speak volumes about you. So I hope I perform well versus I'm confident that I'll perform well. Which one do you feel shows lack of confidence? Sentence 1 or sentence 2? Which one do you feel shows lack of confidence? 1, I hope, means I'm doubting. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping. I don't have much faith. I'm confident, it shows confidence. So while you're trying to say I'll perform well, words like hope make it seem that you're not that confident. So choice of words every single time matters a lot. Next, many a times people think that if I use my sense of humor, I'll come across as a friendly person. Now, it depends on your humor. If you have a witty sense of humor, then go for it. If you feel your humor can hurt sentiments or can seem sarcastic, please stay away. Okay. If you don't have an answer, you don't have to say, I'm so sorry, I don't have an answer. It's absolutely fine. I mean, knowledge is like an ocean. You can't possibly know each and everything. But what matters is your attitude. So when somebody tells you that, what would you answer in this situation, and you don't have an answer, you should not say, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer. Instead, you should say, I wish I had an answer to that one, but I don't as of now. Would it be okay if I do my research and get back to you today by 6 p.m.? Now that shows confidence. I don't have it in me right now. I don't have it with me right now, but I will do my research and I'm confident I'll get it for you by 6. And if they say yes, ensure you take their email ID and actually get back to them 5 to 10 minutes before the deadline. Okay, and please choose the deadline wisely. If you feel it's a difficult question, please take time, like 24 hours time or 18 hours time. Okay, but never ever be sorry for not having an answer. Next, we've done storytelling. So share short stories because stories help us to see that you have experience. Avoid long sentences. Don't bluff. We've done this. Maybe you can lie well through words, but your body language always will give way. Share stories, share case studies, share numbers. There might be some numbers which might be confidential. So obviously don't share those numbers, but share it in percentage terms that when I was in this company and I did so and so campaign, I could increase the sales by so and so percent. That's absolutely fine. You can talk in terms of percentages. Next, assume the interview is done. You came with a smiling face and you have to leave with a smiling face. Okay. Even if the interview didn't go well, it's absolutely fine. It's your attitude that decides at the end whether you will get the job or not a few questions where you were not able to answer. So when the interview is done, obviously you thank them, you get up, you put the chair back in its position by lifting it, not dragging it, and then you walk out, you turn the doorknob. And when you turn the doorknob, you don't just turn it and walk out and shut it. You turn it, you turn around, thank them, and then shut the door. So the last thing that they see is your smiling face. Awesome. So those were things on what you do during the interview. Now let's shift gears and understand what do you do after the interview. Are you ready to know what to do after the interview? Let's go for it. So the first thing that you need to do is don't be dejected if the interview didn't go well. It's fine. It's a learning, it's a stepping stone to your success, your learning. What is important is to introspect. Think about it, rewind the whole episode and see what were some questions that were asked, how did I perform, where is it that I need to kind of improve. So introspect and evaluate. Quickly note down the questions that were asked to you. I would always suggest that the notepad and pen that you've carried, when you come out of the interview premises, when you're out of the interview premises, stand somewhere or maybe you're sitting when you're traveling, quickly take a note of the questions that were asked. And wherever you feel that research is needed, I could not answer this question well, go ahead and do your research. Okay, but you're kind of working, you're kind of expanding your question bank when you do these things. Okay, and of course, when the next interview comes, go through these questions and plan your answers. Next, very, very, very important, just 2% of the people do this. So send a thank you email to the hiring manager and the point of contact. So hiring manager, manager or managers, these are the people who interviewed you. And the point of contact is that person who was scheduling the interview for you and kind of helping you with any queries that you had. All right, so to both of them, you're going to send 2 different emails, not the same thing, thanking them for the opportunity they gave you. Now, this is a sample of a thank you letter that you can send to the interviewer. The elements are you take the interviewer's name, or if you're addressing as Mr. or Sir, you can write it that way. You thank them for meeting you and talking about so and so position, mention the name of the position. See here, subject line is just a thank you and the person's name. That's it. Okay. It was a pleasure to learn more about so and so role or so and so company. A conversation made me even more excited to join your company. I'm interested. What interested me in particular was, and talk about an incident during the conversation. So maybe he mentioned about some campaign, maybe he mentioned about some low time in the company and how they bounced back. So you can just mention that I got really interested in this conversation. And let's say he was talking about some challenge over here. So you can note that down and you can say that I was thinking about what you said about this challenge. In my previous company, I had a similar situation and here's what I did. Or you can say I thought about it and here are some ideas that came to my mind and just give 3-4 bullet points. That's it. I'm sure my experience can translate into similar success. And then if you need any more information, please feel free to get back to me. And I'm looking forward to hearing back from you on so and so date. Now, what is this date? Usually at the end of the interview, either the hiring manager or the POC tells you we'll get back to you by next Friday, by next Monday, and so on. So just look at the date. What date does it come up to? And you can just put that and just say thank you and then sign off. Okay, such a simple mail, but it's showing passion again. You're actually talking about what you loved in the conversation and some challenge and what are your thoughts about it, right? So those are ways in which you can go ahead and show great etiquette. In fact, while talking to you, another point that comes to my mind is that before the interview, ensure that you also check with the point of contact on certain things. Like let's say you have had a leg injury. So check with them that do you have a lift because I've had a leg injury, or whatever issues you have which can help you to whatever issues you have and which can be an obstacle, just check on those things. Like an elevator is a very basic thing that you should ask if you have a leg injury or you're not feeling quite well. Okay. Or if there's anything extra they need, like let's say they've told you to do a task, ask them certain questions. Not too many, just one or two, because that shows eagerness. But when you ask them a lot of questions, that can annoy them as well, that this person can't do any job independently. But when you ask a question or two, it shows that you're taking the time and effort to think really well, right? So with that, another thing that you have to keep in mind is that let's say you thank the person, you tell them I'm looking forward to hearing from you and so on so date, and let's say they don't get back to you. So hold on for 3 more days, which includes the weekend. And after that, you could just send a simple follow-up email to them where you can again greet them. Hope you're doing well. Use your salutation. You greet them. I'm following up to see if you've got any status update regarding so and so position that I interviewed on so and so. Please let me know if you have any update and if there are any additional details that I can provide to you. And thanks and regards, and then you put your entire signature, which includes your full name, your LinkedIn URL, your phone number, and also I would say that if you have something which is important for the role, like for example, let's say you're into digital marketing, then in that case, whatever you do on social media, means a lot. So you could put like a bio link. When I say bio link, I mean something like a Linktree link, where when the person clicks on the Linktree link, all your social media URLs are put up in that. All right. So you can put some special link where when they click on it, whatever you've done, like an ebook you've created, or your Facebook link, your Instagram link, of course, business work, pops up for them. All right. And another tip that I have for you is please check your emails every day, because it's not great etiquette to reply to emails after 3 to 4 or 5 days. Okay. So ensure that you're very prompt on your emails. The faster you are, the better. But otherwise, what's recommended is that within 24 hours, you reply to the emails. Okay. With that, we've completed interview etiquette. I hope you had a great time learning about interview etiquette.